This afternoon's E-Talktales is about gratitude for the milestones the bank has achieved within this year and for all of you who have supported us throughout the year. This is our way of saying thank you for being with us through the years and what an exhilarating year it has been for Unionbank. We celebrate our milestones and overwhelming accolades received from various awarding bodies, including being named Asia Trailblazer Institution of the Year by Retail Banker International, 4-time Digital Bank of the Year by the Asset AAA, back-to-back Best Bank for SMEs by Asia Money, and top 1 most recommended retail bank in Asia Pacific by Bank Quality, just to name a few. These recognitions have further strengthened our commitment to power the future of banking by teching up Pilipinas and co-creating innovations for a better world. We have a lot prepared for you today, and we can't wait to unwrap them. But before that, let me first introduce our moderator for Philippine Broadcasting, a seasoned and respected journalist. She has interviewed business leaders, political figures, and celebrities alike. She started her storied career in ABS-CBN, and today she's with CNN Philippines, helming the source, the network's morning newscast. Joining us for the first time, and definitely not the last, in our E-Talktales series, please welcome the lovely Miss Pinky Webb. Good afternoon, Pinky. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, James. Good afternoon to you. And of course, good afternoon to my colleagues in the media who are joining us today. As James mentioned earlier, 2021 has indeed been a banner year for Unionbank. It has introduced many groundbreaking projects, life-changing services, and trailblazing innovations that have truly defined how we look at banking today. So to help us revisit all the highlights of 2021 and give us a sneak peek at what lies ahead for Unionbank, we are joined by the bank's Senior Executive Vice President, Chief Technology and Operations Officer, and Chief Transformation Officer.
I'm unable to start video.
Mr. Henry Aguda. Henry, good afternoon. Nice to have you with us.
Hi, Pinky. Yeah, good afternoon.
There, I can see you.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you, James and Pinky and friends from media. I'm excited to present to you today, together with my colleague, Arvie. Shall I jump into it already, Pinky?
Yes, please do so.
Okay, thank you. It's the year ender, and James told me that this is the last talks for the year. So we put together our top 10 digital highlights for the year. But before I go into the digital highlights, you know, the pandemic created the shift to digital, and we call it now the new digital normal. It changed the way we live, the way we travel, the way we interact with one another, and basically we've changed forever in terms of how we transact in the financial sector. But even before the pandemic, you know, Unionbank has this forward-looking view that digital is the way for us to move forward. And when the pandemic hit, not only did we survive, but I'm happy to say that the bank actually thrived. And let's look back at what happened in 2020 before I, discuss the things that happened in 2021. So in 2020, we rode the tide of the pandemic and we focused on our digital strengths. And because we focused on our digital strengths, our customers increased by about 307% at the close of 2020. Our mobile app increased by another 300% also, and our transactions with that same amount. And the digital journey continues on to 2021. And you know what happened in 2021. So sadly, during the pandemic, a lot of people had to deal with the situation. And as we end 2020, we were seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, and we were exiting it. In fact, we were on to recovery by Q2. And, you know, like most stories that are epic in nature, there was a twist in the journey. And Q2, we got hit by the Delta. And during that Delta, everybody had to deal with the second phase of lockdowns. But it didn't stop us. In fact, we pushed forward, and I'm glad to say that we're closing the year on a high, including the whole overall economy. And as you know, people are now going out. In fact, I'm now in the office with a couple of colleagues doing this webinar. And I guess it's a view of what's to come in 2022. So let's start with the top 10 list. First on our list, number 1 on our list is being granted the digital bank license. Only 6 digital banking license was approved by the BSP, and only Unionbank is the only commercial bank with a fully owned subsidiary that was given a digital bank license. We're proud that it's UnionDigital, and of course, I'm with my partner here, Arvie, who will talk about UnionDigital in more detail later. But you know, a lot of people have asked me, Unionbank's been known as the digital bank. Why do you need a license for a digital bank? Well, it's expected of us. That's one. Second, the market has validated that that was the right move to create a digital bank subsidiary. But more importantly, it is part of our advocacy to reach as many Filipinos and to solve the financial inclusion problem in the Philippines. So a lot more exciting things to be announced by UnionDigital in the next coming months. Now, on to top 2 in terms of our list. We inaugurated our campus in San Pedro. The campus will house various centers of innovation, including institutes dedicated to data science and artificial intelligence. Let me quote my boss, Edwin Bautista. This is a major step for us, and it is also an affirmation that even during this time of crisis, there are companies who continue to invest in the future of the Philippines. So a lot of people are asking, you know, most of your employees are working from home. Why are you building a campus where you will ask people to congregate and, you know, set to work? And then we said, this pandemic will pass. And as our campus gets built, we hope that by first half of next year, most of our people will now be able to go there, continue innovating, continue collaborating, and, you know, in a face-to-face manner that stimulates a lot of engagement. So that's our campus. Wait for more announcements. It's rising in 2022. Now, slide number 3 shows you our next achievement in 2021. The third highlight was basically we've been able to register 21 patents. Now, this is significant. This shows that the superior innovation that our people are known for are formalized and are actually put on paper legally. I'm happy to share that we have in our midst in Unionbank several inventors that have official patents to their names. And about 18 more patents are on its way. I think our legal team, as well as our compliance organization, are working day and night trying to process 120 patent applications at this point. Number 4 on our list. This we're very proud of. You know, Unionbank's known for being agile and fast. But you're only as fast and as resilient and agile as your infrastructure. And 2021 was the year that we fully transformed our network and branch network infrastructure. You know, to become a digital bank, you need to have 100% data center uptime. You need 100% data center connectivity. And we've also been able to transform 150 of our ARC branches to become fully digital. And more to come in 2022. Now, on to our number 5 on our list. Number 5 on our list is Unionbank is one of the first banks that have successfully piloted and implemented InstaPay 2.0. What does this mean? InstaPay 2.0 now allows a merchant, an MSME or an SME merchant, to post his own QR code and customers can now pay by scanning the standard QRPH code. So Unionbank is leading the way in making sure that that becomes a standard way of transacting electronic payment securely and efficiently in the marketplace. Number 6 on our list is our SME banking platform. We designed our SME banking platform to cater to the needs of businesses by providing a way to seek aid, meaning not just aid in information as well as for loans. So the platform currently right now has financed over 2,000 loans, and this has amounted to around 150 million US dollars. We now have around 22,900 SMEs enrolled in the platform, working hand in hand with the startup that UBX has partnered with CCAP. We now provide financial assistance to the SMEs in order for them, to take advantage of the normalization in the economy. Number 7 on our list, this is our tech advocacy. And our tech advocacy consists of helping the government, not just by automating some of their processes and platforms, but also providing educational support and training to a lot of executives. In fact, we've partnered with an institution called Asian Institute of Digital Transformation based out of Singapore. Shout out to Roger Collantes and his team. We've basically trained this year alone 101 digital transformation masterclass graduates. And in the roster of those graduates includes, once a justice, several secretaries, undersecretaries, commissioners, and these are leading digital transformation thought leaders in government right now. And we will continue that program in 2022. 8 on our list, and we're closing in on number 10. 8 on our list is basically our UBX platforms. Our fintech venture studio, UBX, also gained significant signups in 2021. We have around 259 financial institutions joined up by 121 platforms and 2,300 mobile ATMs. I've mentioned CCAP. CCAP has been able to extend 42,000 MSME signups for loans. Our all-in-one payment delivery platform, BUX, gained 102,000 MSME signups. And our Centro, the free online shop builder with integrated payment gateway, now has close to about 40,000 MSME signups. That's why, I'm happy to say UBX is one of the fastest growing fintechs in Asia. Last on our list, and this is something that's part of our Love Union Bank campaign, centers on our customer centricity. During 2021, we launched a program and we asked them, the public, will you be mine? And close to about 10 million customers have answered yes. So before I end my session, let me segue to the I Love Union Bank campaign that we launched. This will give you an idea of how the whole year of 2021 has been with Union Bank and with our beloved customers. And if I may say, James started off by saying this is an event of gratitude. We want to thank our customers, almost all 10 million of them, our employees, our stakeholders, and our friends in media for being with us through the pandemic and through the recovery, and hopefully in the whole of 2022 as well. So I'll cut to the video and enjoy, please.
Matagal lang kami ng UB online. It all started with just one ID. Sobrang na-appreciate ko ang beauty niya. Then, when my life got tougher, tinulungan niya ako. I didn't have to go out to pay or enroll my billers. Wala siyang hinihingi in return. One transfer can be free kasi. Lagi siyang may time for me, even to deposit my check. Ba siya mag-alaga kahit peak banking hours pa. Move on na ako from others. UB Online is my forever.
Thank you, Pinky. That's my presentation for today.
That's a cute video. I was just going to ask you about it. What was with the Will You Be Mine, where you had how many people respond to that? I think you're on mute, Henry.
There's right now, if you're asking us how many has responded, a lot actually. So much so that we expect to close the year with 10 million customers.
Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you, Henry, for that. We can't wait for what's in store for us this coming year. Now, to help us learn more about the much anticipated launch of UnionDigital, we have its co-founder and CEO, Arvie de Vera. Arvie, also, thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hi, Pinky.
Hi. We want to see you.
Yeah, my video is just being enabled by the moderator. Give me a second. There.
There you go.
There you go.
Go ahead, Arvie.
Okay. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. And thank you for this opportunity to share parts of the UnionDigital story. When we started the digital transformation journey, our aspiration was to adopt the mindset and agility of a tech company, but retain the governance and trust of a regulated bank. That aspiration became a reality on December 2020 when the Bangko Sentral released digital bank regulations. 6 months later, UnionDigital was born and operates as a tech company and also a bank. With that in mind, let's first define what a digital bank is according to Bangko Sentral Circular 1105, Guidelines on the Establishment of Digital Banks. The BSP defines a digital bank as follows. A digital bank offers financial products and services that are processed end-to-end through a digital platform and or electronic channels with no physical branch, sub-branch, or branch-light unit offering financial products and services. This means a digital bank completely operates and exists in the virtual. Customers interface with a digital bank through their devices, meaning there will never be a need for brick and mortar, branches, paper, or physical contact. According to the regulations, these are the allowable services of a digital bank. A digital bank can lend, can do loans, it can do time deposits, foreign currency deposits, it can invest, it can act as a correspondent bank for other financial institutions, it can do collections, it can issue e-money products, issue credit cards, buy and sell foreign exchange, present microinsurance services, and other activities as may be allowed by the Monetary Board. A digital bank is not allowed to have branches. However, the regulations do allow for the use of a head office for management and operations. But why a digital bank? What differentiates a digital bank from a traditional bank is its foundation. First, it's a chance to go back to basics. As a digital native entity, a digital bank exists in the cloud, not on real estate. That means it can easily address the pain points that exist due to manual operations. For instance, digital infrastructure is not subject to the same costs as physical infrastructure. By being cloud native, costs are lower while the quality of the product is still high, meaning customers have access to the best services at a lower price. A digital bank's design can be specifically tailored to address issues that have arisen in today's paper-based legacy banking processes. For instance, many Filipinos cannot avail of loans because they may not have traditional employment, own assets, or have a bank account, and therefore do not have sufficient information to generate a credit score. With digital, it is possible to assess people's creditworthiness based on thousands of data points and an algorithm, making it possible to tailor fit lending rates for clients based on their personal transaction data. Therefore, those who cannot establish credit under the legacy lending system may be given a chance to avail of loans under a digital bank. At its core, a digital bank opens the door to reimagining banking. It allows us to imagine a borderless future where sending remittances through blockchain incurs little or no fees, as opposed to the whopping 5 to 7% fees standard today. Imagine a kababayan transferring funds from Qatar in the Middle East to their parents in Surigao del Sur in mere minutes. Imagine a world where investors can be liquid at all times, where customers can get the solutions they need in just a few taps of the screen, and a future where financial errands can be AI event-driven. When we thought about the future of financial services, we knew that banks would need to digitize to stay relevant. That much was obvious. But how to digitize was a more complicated question. At Unionbank, we took 3 different approaches to solve that problem. The first is the newly transformed Unionbank. Another is UBX, the fintech arm. And then, of course, UnionDigital, the digital native bank. Unionbank is the core bank and takes a hybrid approach to the future. It continues to undergo tremendous transformation to embrace the digital future and adopt as much of a digital interface as possible. However, it will always have branches and will continue to be a tether for the bank's ecosystems. UnionDigital takes a 100% virtual approach. It will exist purely in the cloud, a built-for digital banking platform that can address and embrace the emerging needs of a digital world. Lastly, UBX is Unionbank's fintech and venture capital investment vehicle. It's an accelerator for fintechs, and it aims to prepare for the future by investing in fintechs and/or creating its own. All of these approaches were developed to ensure that we would be best possibly positioned to offer financial services to our customers, regardless of how digital finance would evolve. And those possibilities were accelerated by these key disruptive trends that are now driving exponential growth. First, in fintech, we've seen enormous growth. In the Philippines alone, we've seen it 5x. Our very own UBX and the services have grown exponentially, as Henry mentioned earlier. In terms of blockchain adoption, Ethereum transactions in the past 6 years have grown 36x. MetaMask users have grown 2x in the last 3 months. And open finance has been a priority of the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas and in the region, the Monetary Authority of Singapore, to drive more interoperability and digital transactions. And that opens the floodgates for even more digitally enabled transactions. Most of all, what's exciting really here is that the Philippines is at the forefront of this wave. We are the 4th fastest growing digital economy in the world, according to the Financial Times. The Philippines has had over 20% digital transactions in 2020, up exponentially from 1% in 2013. And according to the BSP's projections, that figure is expected to reach 50% by 2023. There are over 250 fintechs operating now in the Philippines. 4.36 million Filipinos own cryptocurrencies. And we are the first in the world in NFT ownership. The play-to-earn phenomenon has exploded here with 3 million daily active users on Axie Infinity, 40% of which are Filipino. That's a 2x growth in daily active users in the last 6 months. Digital is here, and yes, the Philippines and the Filipino is at the center of it and driving it once again. Just as when we were the texting capital, when texting first came out, And again, when social media emerged today, when social media emerged. Today, though, for the sixth straight year, the Philippines remains the top in social media usage worldwide with 4.15 hours a day. We are also the highest in internet usage at close to 11 hours a day. Meanwhile, we are also above the global average for e-commerce adoption. The global average is 76.8%, while the Philippines usage and adoption here is 80.2%. The opportunity for the Philippines to emerge as a world leader in this industry is before us, but we need to seize and maximize the present opportunities in order to make it there. Unionbank is the only publicly listed bank to be granted a digital license by the Bangko Sentral. That means we have the pedigree, the history, the experience, and the strength of a universal bank parent capable of bridging the regulatory gap between the technologies of today and tomorrow. We are best positioned because of our trailblazing leadership in fintech, blockchain, and open finance. And most of all, our roots are here. We are here for the Filipino, and we're here to stay. In our experience in co-creation and collaboration with fintechs, we know how to turn emerging innovations into real products and put them in the hands of our customers. We establish working relationships with global fintechs to become recognized as fintech leaders in the Philippines. We embraced blockchain early as a powerful technology that could help in our transformation and with our mission to drive inclusion. Our work with I2I, the launch of our stablecoin PHX and Bonds PH, to name a few, demonstrates Unionbank's commitment to implementing exciting new blockchain technology into actual use cases that allow fellow Filipinos to do more with their money. For those unfamiliar with I2I, I2I is a nationwide blockchain network that facilitates the participation of rural banks and other financial institutions into PesoNet and InstaPay. In 2019, we connected this I2I network to OCBC Bank in Singapore to pilot a near real-time remittance from a Singapore account to a rural bank account in Surigao del Sur. To power these payments, we created our own CBDC, Commercial Bank-Backed Digital Currency, known as PHX. Bonds PH is a partnership with the Philippine Bureau of Treasury that allows users to digitally purchase bonds and record those transactions on the blockchain. All of this was approved by our very forward-looking and innovative Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. Lastly, we championed open finance in the Philippines by creating APIs to connect our partners to ourselves, our partners to one another, our partners to suppliers, and also to the world. Our award-winning Open API portal, which is like a Netflix of APIs, enables companies, fintechs, and banks to work together better. For instance, our payment APIs are utilized to transfer funds from a Unionbank account to a digital wallet, e-commerce platform, or fintech in real time and in a secure manner. By making payments to these platforms easier than ever, we support Filipino industry and empower its growth. Finally, our partnerships with APIX by the Monetary Authority of Singapore and IFC World Bank opened up the Philippines to the world by connecting us to a global API exchange. That means more connections between Filipino businesses and global industry leaders. With that, I'd like to summarize. While UnionDigital aims to empower the country's digital economy, we also aim to elevate it by bringing trust and governance into the space. We embrace innovation like a fintech, but offer all the powers, experience, and track record of a fully regulated bank. At the heart of our work will always be the desire to provide our customers with what they want, what they need, while ensuring that they have what they need also in terms of security, compliance with regulation, and proper governance. We will be a bridge between decentralized finance and traditional banking, leading our customers through this new future. And most of all, we are anchored on solid leadership with decades of industry experience, leadership that understands the value of being first movers and is willing and ready to boldly take those steps. With that, I'd like to leave you with a quote from a famous banker who said, "Go as far as you can see. When you get there, you'll be able to see farther." Thank you and good afternoon.
I think I'm speaking for everyone here in saying that we're all excited to try out UnionDigital. Arvie, thank you so much. Now, please don't leave, Arvie. We'll have you and Henry for a quick conversation about Unionbank in the year 2021, and of course, what awaits all of us in 2022. Before I ask my questions, I'm pretty sure that our media attendees are also excited to get in on the action and ask their questions. So here are the reminders for you. Please use the Q&A button of the Zoom platform to type in your questions. And before your question, of course, please state your name and the organization that you represent. So, okay, I have some questions here. I came prepared. Henry, I'm going to ask you first, although I did hear 10 points a while ago. What would you say has been the most significant achievement for Unionbank in the past year?
Yeah, for 2021, I think, Pinky, the biggest one is the one that I ended in the top 10. It's we're close to getting 10 million customers, and that's huge. In 2020, we ended with around 4.5, 4.7. If you notice, it almost doubled. And that's out of the Love Unionbank campaign. And that just goes to show that a lot of customers out there are also promoting us. Thank you to our customers. And they believe in the advocacy that we have, that to make banking as available and as safe and secure to our customers as much as possible. The other project, that's also in the top 10 that maybe I was not able to elaborate further, and shout out to my very good friend, Attorney Arlene, is the wealth management projects that we've had. We've launched basically the next gen online, which is, so we do a lot of work for government and corporation, but we also do a lot of work with the future entrepreneurs of this country, the future business leaders. And these are the next generation tycoons and taipans that will basically use digital as a platform for inclusive growth in the country. So those are the things that resonate well with me in the top 10, Pinky.
Okay. But also very exciting is the campus to be completed in 2022.
Yes, to be completed in 2022, first building. We're rushing to make sure that between April to May, we should be able to see a lot of people going there. And as I've mentioned, Unionbank also invents a lot of stuff, and we patent them and expect more inventive products to be patented because of that collaboration center. And incidentally, that will be the new headquarters and home of Arvie's UnionDigital.
Yeah. So that's going to be where, in San Pedro?
That's in San Antonio, San Pedro, Laguna.
That's right. Wait, so how, just maybe you can expound some more how this will drive innovation for the bank in the years to come.
So this will be a space to incubate groundbreaking innovations and cutting-edge services that will create products for our customers. The campus plan consists of several buildings, actually, Pinky. So anywhere from fintech to edutech to insurance tech will be incubated in an area. And the nice thing about building it in the South is also to spread our ability to reach out to as many institutions also. There are good educational institutions in the South that we'll be collaborating with. So that's what it's going to do. Aside from the fact that it will also house half of the operations of the bank. So the bank is very particular with disaster recovery and business continuity. So a lot of our operations will be also housed in that area. And that will continue to build on as we grow as an institution.
Obviously, you talked about how you were already, 2 or even 3 steps ahead digitally, and everyone really was forced into this due to the pandemic. Talking about COVID-19, we've had surges and now historic lows. Yesterday, it was about 250. It hasn't been that low since, I believe, May of 2020. How were you able to maybe one way or another adjust to the fluid nature of health and its impact on your business?
Yes. So first of all, beyond the resiliency and flexibility of our infrastructure, as I mentioned earlier, we've created a new data network infrastructure that allows us to be flexible. It allows us for customers as for employees to work in their homes effectively as they are working in the offices. But more than that, Pinky, actually, it's a testament to the resiliency and the agility of our people. So we provided them a lot of the digital tools, but you cannot underscore the heart that goes into servicing the public. So while most of our headquarters employees are working from their homes, our frontline employees in the branches are also there. So they're actually the ones who have been affected a lot with the lockdown, the slow opening up of the economy, then the next lockdown. So we ensure that all the health protocols are there. We've been fully vaccinated as an organization. And I think in the next coming weeks, we'll start doing aggressive booster shots for our employees. So it's a mixture of how our infrastructure has been built and driven by very committed union bankers. That's how we've survived the ebbs and flows of this year.
Okay, maybe I'll ask Arvie this. UnionDigital, I know you kind of explained it already a while ago, but maybe just to remind us, how will it set itself apart from Unionbank? So, there's no confusion that can arise.
Thanks, Pinky. I think it's good to go to first the definition. No, so the definition of the digital bank, first of all, requires no branches.
Right.
And from that mandate alone, when you have no branches, you're limited in terms of your reach. You're really forced to go more digital into your connections and interconnections. With that, you also saw that the regulations require end-to-end digital processes. So again, no branches, and now no manual processes, right? And if you have no branches, no manual processes, no paper, right? And that is part of the mandate. It takes out a lot of the challenges we've had as a traditional bank in processing, I'll say something as simple as paper. And the way we had to transition. I remember when we were doing the ARC, and Henry and the rest of the team, and we were, remember, Henry, all those signature cards that we had? I mean that operation alone. So let me reverse it and say, you know what? It takes away a lot of the headaches that we used to have in the main bank in dealing with paper. And maybe I'll zoom out a bit and also say that we're not dealing with cash, which is also an operational challenge in the bank. We have cash centers, we have cash pickups, we have vaults that need to secure cash. All of that cost and infrastructure is not available, is gone in the digital bank context. So
but,
yeah.
So let's assume I'm someone who wants to open a bank account for the first time. Why should I even decide possibly to go with a digital bank like UnionDigital rather than, a universal bank like Unionbank, which obviously would be the more popular one, has the prestige and experience behind it?
So without going into the details of the product and services of a digital bank, I guess what I'm trying to say is there will be complementary services. So there will be things that a UnionDigital can do that a Union Bank cannot do. And there are things that the Union Bank can do and a UnionDigital cannot do or will not do, right? So the services will be complementary. And the way we execute that in our ecosystem, you'll see in the executions of the products and services accordingly. But it will be felt in a more embedded and invisible manner. So for example, you'll probably be able to make digital loans much easier. You can also customize a digital loan, Pinky. So you would have a different interest rate from me or Henry, because in the digital bank, I can now have a different credit score for Pinky, Henry, and myself. So no longer in the main bank where you have one interest rate for all of us and one loan fits all. In the digital bank, you can customize, and I can have a 7-day loan for Pinky. I can have a 24-day loan for Henry, and I can have a 1-month loan for Arvie. And all of that executed digitally with no manual intervention in a very cost-effective manner.
Right. What about the spate of cybercrimes such as phishing, hacking, and everything else, others that have been reported in the past few months? How can you actually assure the customers of UnionDigital that it is a secure platform, and is there such a thing?
Okay, so I think Henry and I will both tandem on this. I mean, we'll answer this from both a Union Bank and a UnionDigital. But
okay,
I'll start off from the UnionDigital perspective. I think for one, the rest of us digital banks, not just UnionDigital, but we all recognize this as a key threat. And in fact, the digital banks will be actually held to a higher degree also of digital regulation and governance, precisely because of digital in nature. So we will address these threats, and these risks by mapping them out according to our processes, our products, and we'll address it accordingly. We have an NIST standard which we follow. I'll let Henry go through that. But basically, the nice thing about being partnered with a universal bank like Union Bank is we've done all the necessary work to build our cybersecurity capability as an institution. And that will hold true for UnionDigital as well. But at the same time, I think I'll say that that's not our responsibility alone. I think we see that in the main bank, we see it in the digital bank. And in our call in the digital banks is to make it a industry-wide responsibility. We can't also do it alone. We have to collaborate with fellow digital banks in order to do that. Henry, I'll turn over to you, sir, for the details.
So to add to what Arvie said, and this is true not just for UnionDigital, but to Union Bank as well. There are a lot of good news that are on the way in 2022. One of which was, I mentioned, InstaPay 2.0. InstaPay 2.0 is going to add additional validation and security layer so that when you do fund transfer, you cannot make fictitious names anymore. So I think that change is going to happen. Not only will fund transfer become more efficient, it will also be more secure. Second, there's an existing bill for SIM card registration.
Right.
And that's a big thing because a lot of the legislatures have recognized that the anonymity of mobile phones allows it to become a tool of choice by the hackers. And so once that happens, that's going to reduce some of the hacking incidents. Third is the national ID. So one of the big issues in our country is the ability to authenticate the identity of the person. With the national ID in full swing next year, that will allow banks and other institutions to actually validate the person holding the account. So and several other more that's happening. So the nice thing about the industry is we're learning from all of what's happening right now, and we're cooperating. There's solidarity among the financial institutions and the regulators to make sure that we make digital banking as safe as possible. Right now, yes, we've heard some issues, but in general, Pinky, it's still safer to put your money in the bank. I think that's quite a fact.
Yeah, but obviously, people need to have that comfort level when putting their money in the bank. Okay, could I just do a follow-up with Henry? What is the single, I guess, biggest project for Unionbank in 2022?
Wow. We don't know. 2022 is huge. We cannot say it's the single biggest. UnionDigital definitely is one of the big projects there. Maybe just to say that, the things that are out there in the paper that have talked about things that are happening in Union Bank will come out with more official statements about that in 2022. So there's not much I can say about that, Pinky, but it's not going to be just one big thing. It's going to be a lot of huge surprises for the bank in 2022.
Okay, follow up, because I also understand that you invest heavily in data science and AI, artificial intelligence this year. How, I guess, would this, in one way or another, impact Union Bank's path in the future?
So I'll take a stab of that question, then maybe Arvie can add. So first, we're now able to create algorithms that are able to give us credit scoring that are more accurate. So in the past, we're able to extend loans to individuals with the traditional credit validation processes. But now we have alternative scoring like telco data, consumption data, etc. So that has helped us increase actually the number of people that we extend loans to. Second, as I mentioned earlier, we're closing to get 10 million customers. Part of that is our targeted ability to market and to sell to our customers. And finally, also, we touched on cybersecurity earlier. We are now applying AI and data analytics for pattern recognition. If we are able to put that right algorithm together in terms of identifying threat actions, we should be able to prevent a lot of the phishing incidents also. So I guess Arvie has more, especially now that he's building a bank that is AI from the start.
Arvie, go ahead.
Thanks, Henry. No, I'm glad you mentioned it. I didn't know if we could say that much about AI, but thank you for doing that. And going back to, I'll jump on Henry's last point, which I think is crucial on the risk side. In the digital bank, that's really where we're focusing the AI. And Henry's right, spot on. It's for the fraud detection. It's to try and attempt and determine, risks and fraud ahead of time. And that's really the power of AI. Yes, to use it for credit scoring and payments and nudging. We've been doing that in the bank for years. And that, Henry talked about 10 million customers. Those customers are getting more engaged because of that as well. That's helped. But other than customer acquisition, we really looked at data science and AI to help with cybersecurity. And that's where, the more digital we get, the more digital risks come with it. It's part and parcel of a digital economy that's growing, right? So we have to be more creative and innovative, applying these technologies exactly in the other side. So a lot of the things in open finance, in data science, and AI, even in blockchain, are towards security, provenance, governance, precisely to help battle the challenges that come with digital economies growing.
Okay, one last question before we go to the media. What makes, I guess, UnionDigital superior to other digital banks that, of course, have been accredited by the BSP?
Well, Okay, for one, I think all the digital banks have something unique to offer. And they bring their own competitive advantage and their own strengths. No? For us, it's very clear. When we look at digital banks in the world, the more successful ones are those with a strong partner. Ours is our parent Unionbank. So that immediately brings to the table all of the learnings, everything a universal bank brings. And we are the only listed Philippine bank to be granted that. So that immediately sets us apart. No? Together with that partnership comes a tremendous amount of technology, a tremendous amount of learnings, and really, a culture of wanting to innovate and to always improve in the customer experience. And Pinky, I'll actually dare say that we're the only ones there who are a fintech and a bank.
Okay. Also, I hope you enjoyed this afternoon session. 2021 has certainly been a year filled with ups and downs, but we are happy that it looks like our country is well on its way to recovery. And a big part of that is because of the massive growth in the digital economy, as you've already heard. No? According to a report by Google, Temasek, and Bain & Company, the Philippines is the fastest growing internet economy in the Southeast Asia region, behind the exponential growth of e-commerce and food delivery services. The Philippines, in fact, added 12 million new digital consumers since the pandemic started in March 2020. And the overall internet economy in terms of gross merchandise value, or GMV, is expected to reach $17 billion this year, an increase of 93% compared to last year. Almost 40% also of merchants interviewed said they would not have been able to survive the year if not for their digital platforms. And, according to the data from the DTI, the Philippines' current goal is to increase e-commerce revenue to about $17 billion, or approximately 850 billion pesos, or 4.3% of GDP for 2021. And to $24 billion, or 1.2 trillion pesos, or 5.5% of GDP by 2022. The DTI also intends to increase the number of e-commerce businesses from 500,000 in 2020 to 750,000 by 2021, and about 1 million by 2022. So you've already heard that in Unionbank, we've seen our retail digital account customer openings more than double compared to last year. And we see this as a validation of our continuing efforts to design platforms that deliver a great customer experience. And you can expect us to keep on getting better. And we already heard that from Henry and Arvie earlier. You've also heard from Henry how we've been continuously improving our platforms, products, and services, enhancing the benefits and, of course, security, and adding features to meet the current and future needs of our customers and business clients. Unionbank's goal is not just to help people survive, but to actually enable them to thrive in this new environment through the latest financial technologies, staying true, of course, to our commitment to Tech Up Pilipinas. And leading that charge here are our fintech business groups, our UBX subsidiary, and our latest baby, headed by Arvie, UnionDigital. They will continue to push the boundaries of what's possible with a steady pipeline of innovations towards our bigger purpose of inclusive prosperity for everyone. Now, I hope you are as eager as I am to welcome 2022. What I can promise, and as Henry has alluded to earlier, is that what you've heard today is just the tip of the iceberg from Unionbank. There's a lot more exciting news that you can expect us to share with you moving forward. But for now, let us enjoy the remaining weeks of 2021